a number of you witnessed the VTC-SOM military promotion ceremony. Will our 3 new captains please stand to be recognized? Caitlin Bixel. I'll give them each their due, I guess. Sarah Brubaker. And Ben Guerin. These students have all been participants in the Health Professions Scholarship Program, and we are so proud. Now to our theme for the evening. It takes a community. VTC-SOM and our many communities, which include our military community, working together, each benefiting from the involvement of the others, are definitely more than the sum of their parts. We think the following multimedia presentation demonstrates the power of those relationships, beginning with our founding partners, Nancy Agee, CEO of Carilion Clinic, and Tim Sands, President of Virginia Tech. And now presenting, It Takes a Community.
Wow. Good evening. I'm Nancy Howe, AG, CEO of Carilion Clinic, and it's just a daggone treat to be here tonight. What a great celebration. There's so much energy in the room. It's fun. You know, I was walking around the room tonight and visiting with some of you, and person after person after person said, "Did you ever imagine? Could you have dreamed of such a wonderful School of Medicine, all these wonderful students? Could you have even dreamed that?" And I said, you know what? I can dream really big. But as the Donald says, this is huge. Well, seriously, thank you all. Thank you all so much. It's my privilege to be a part of Carilion and therefore be a part of this wonderful School of Medicine and Research Institute. But it was our board's vision at the beginning. So I want to give tribute to our board members who are here, particularly our board chair, James Hartley, and his wife, Judy. If you would say hello. other board members, including Alexander Boone. Alexander, thank you for being here. Our wonderful Carilion administration, many of you are here, if you will wave, and in particular, our faculty who make this happen. So thanks to all of you. Now, you know there's a really big risk when you give me a microphone and you say, talk about Carilion. Because, golly, I could talk about how amazing Carilion is for a long time, and you'd be yawning. I could also talk about how wonderful our partnership is with Virginia Tech, and it is. And then I could talk about the products of that partnership, particularly the School of Medicine and the Research Institute. Who could have dreamed, even a short 7 years ago, what we have today? But you're not at risk from me talking on and on. I'm glad to tell you, because tonight's about their students, our students who are graduating. And it is our great pleasure to celebrate with you and to congratulate you. You all know our values. You students have defined what it means to have courage, curiosity, commitment, and you've been a part of this wonderful community. Your diploma will have our name on it. And so in so many ways, as you continue your career, you are a part of us, and we are a part of you. So I ask you, please choose your pathway wisely. Make us proud, and I know you will. And we promise to leave the light on, because you're always welcome back home. Congratulations.
I'd like to add my congratulations on behalf of Virginia Tech to the 42 Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine graduates about to be. We are so proud of you and your accomplishments. I was thinking about the theme of community, and as a university president in Virginia, I spend January and February in Richmond during the General Assembly session, and we have Senator Edwards here. I don't know, do we have any other General Assembly members in the room? I'll be careful here. I might have to thank you for everything you did. But I've got to tell you that it was pretty striking to see what the reaction was in the General Assembly to our requests to expand the VTC partnership to create a health science and technology innovation district. And what really made that work was not Virginia Tech or Carilion Clinic saying we need it. It was really the strength of this community recognizing your value. The medical students who are out in the community, either formally or informally, they love you here. I mean, you're pretty well behaved, so that helps. Because you're too busy to get in too much trouble. And many of you are much more mature than I would remember medical students to be. But all that said, you love the community and they love you. And the same is true for our research scientists in the Research Institute. So when I went to Richmond, and I'm sure you had this experience, we started talking about the expansion. Let's build on what we've achieved. Let's create the second chapter to this video and be even bigger and better, and it's an incredible future. The thing that really sells it is the fact that it's about the community. It's about building Roanoke. It's about building Southwest Virginia. And it's about and there's credibility. There's credibility because the people here in Roanoke and in Blacksburg know you. They've gotten to know you all. And they come out in force to support you and to support us because of that relationship that is so complex. It's not just about the university. It's not just about Carilion Clinic, as I said. It's about all these relationships that are represented in the room that when we said we need help in Richmond, wow, we had so many of you coming to bat for us, and so many people who were there because of the contributions to the community. And they're thinking forward, too. They're thinking not about what we achieved so far, but what could happen in Roanoke and in Blacksburg as a result of this VTC partnership. So I'd like to congratulate especially the VTC medical students, because when you came here, it wasn't accredited, and it was about to be, I guess. It was a couple years away, but you came here with a bit of faith, You came here because you were excited about the model and you wanted to do something exciting and different. And that takes courage, and we really appreciate your faith in us. And we're so proud of you. We're going to launch you. Some of you will stay in the area, some of you will go far and wide, but you're always going to be connected to Roanoke and to Virginia Tech and to Carilion Clinic. Now, Carilion Clinic doesn't have a football team or a basketball team, but we've started to work together. So now we have the VTC court at Castle. So you can come back and root on your VTC teams, and not only the sports teams, but the community as a whole. So thank you for everything you've done, VTC grads, and look forward to watching your careers develop and having you come back and visit us. Some of you, hopefully, will come back and work here, but we'll be proud of you either way. Thank you very much.
There's a funny thing about that word community. At the end of it is the word unity. And you can feel tonight this wonderful unity that we have together. Thank you all for being here. And think back to those early days when you were part of the MMPI all the way to the match. You were a part of a community.
It all starts with desire, a desire to become a doctor. But that's just the start. After the MCATs, narrowing down the list of schools, filling out applications, and a whole bunch of hoping and waiting, you get a chance to show those schools just who you are. At the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine, you do that at MMIs. MMIs, or multiple mini interviews, give us an idea of who you are and how you think. They give us the information that doesn't fit on an application. MMIs are two parts. A traditional interview that gives the admissions committee a chance to hear why you want to go to medical school and why you want that school to be VTC. It's a conversation, and it's traditional. Then there are scenario interviews. They're a series of 9 8-minute sit-downs with members of the community. And it isn't easy. Some say it's nerve-wracking because there's no way to prepare and no clue ahead of time as to what will be asked. But that's the point of scenario interviews. They're designed to gauge your character, your emotions, your ability to think.
I think it's a good process for the students because it gives them, I think, an opportunity to do something other than just speaking about their CVs, their curriculum vitae, something more about their personalities. And it gives us an opportunity to see more about their personalities, which I think if they're going to go into the field of medicine, I think the art of medicine is just as important as the science. And being able to speak on your feet, I think, is a nice attribute, which most of them have.
As wide-ranging as the questions are, the people doing the asking are equally diverse. They're not all medical professionals. They're community leaders who know a thing or two about people. They conduct these interviews because they care about the school and what it means to this community.
I can't think of any single thing that is going to have more of an economic impact on our community than this medical school.
Joyce Waugh has interviewed candidates since the school opened. She knows how important it is to choose the right students.
That these are folks that will perhaps be changing our lives and the lives of citizens in our region in the future, or the regions wherever they ultimately locate.
Would this be the physician that I would feel comfortable, meeting with and being treated within one of the Carilion facilities? And it was just an enjoyable time for me, not only to ask the questions, but just to dig further on why they answered the way that they did.
MMIs give Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine applicants a chance to show just how qualified they are. 9 scenario interviews provide opportunities to regroup if you stumble. Because in the end, we want your success just as much as you want to succeed.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Steve Workman. I'm the Associate Dean for Admissions, and I want to give you just a little bit of background on this MMI process and why it's so important to our medical school. We've just finished the 7th cycle of MMI interviews. We've conducted 42 so far since 2009. We were the 4th school, professional school in the country to adopt it. It was developed by McMaster University in Canada because their research showed that the traditional one-on-one interview wasn't truly predictive of a student's possibilities to becoming a good doctor. So they wanted to look at a broader approach where there would be multiple interviews dealing with specific topics that a student could evaluate. And so they developed the MMI process. They started back in 2001. The scenarios kind of look for what we used to call soft skills, things that you can't determine by just looking at a medical school applicant's record, their grades. We want to see a little bit more of how they think on their feet, how they can communicate. So in many cases, these short scenarios have been compared to speed dating because they're in and they're out, and they move on to the next one. It takes about 90 minutes for the whole cycle to work. So for us, the MMI functions on 3 levels. First of all, it allows us to evaluate the applicants, to kind of evaluate their communication skills, their ability to think on their feet, and we're not looking for a correct answer. We want to see how their process works and how they move from a limited amount of information to a decision on how to proceed. So in many cases, it's an ambiguous question. You can go in a couple of different directions. So we're trying to evaluate how their thought process works. Secondly, it functions for us to introduce them to Roanoke. For most of the students that come and interview with us, unless they went to school at Virginia Tech or have relatives that did, they know very little about the Roanoke area. So for half of the day, they're interviewing. For the other half of the day, we give them a bus tour of the downtown area and South Roanoke area where most of the students live, courtesy of Beth Fitzpatrick and the CC&T Bus Museum. They get a chance to see how vibrant a community this is and how much is really going on. So it helps us sell the community, especially if they've flown in for an interview or are only going to be here for a short period of time. And the third thing it does, it helps us involve the community. In line with tonight's theme, we have over 130 interviewers that participate as scenario interviewers, and over half of them are community members, not affiliated with Carilion, Jefferson College of Health Science, or Virginia Tech. So it really is an opportunity for the community members to see the quality of the students that we're bringing into the program. And the students then get excited about how they see the community reacting to their presence and feel like they're very welcome here. So it's a great synergy that goes on. So in addition to the 130 interviewers that we have a year as scenario interviewers, we have 24 members of the admissions committee that also participate as traditional interviewers. We have over 50 staff members that participate in supporting the various interview weekends. And then I want to give a shout out to the 3 people on the admission staff, Barbara Parshall, Kelsey Daniel, and Lauren Wiley, who do all the behind the scenes. They do all the behind the scenes organization. They match the interviewers to the interview scenario that best fits their skill and experience. They coordinate all the logistics for the breakfasts and meals. They make sure the students get to where they need to go. And it all starts with recruiting the right kind of students to come here in the first place. So with that in mind, this has been a terrific team. I want to point out that Dr. Melanie Prusakowski will be taking over leadership of the team this summer as the new Assistant Dean of Admissions. Because of our expansion, we started the first year with only 1,600 applicants. This last year, we're now at 4,600 applicants. So we're going to expand the number of MMIs to 7 this year. So we want to put an idea in your head. If you're not an MMI interviewer now, and this looks like it would be an exciting thing to do, please contact our office and we'll get you lined up for training this summer. Thank you very much.
Research. It's one of the cornerstones of a Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine education. That's not the case for 95% of medical school students across the country, and it's one of the things that sets VTC apart. It was decided long before the first class heard their first lecture that each and every med student would conduct a research project. Not a volcano made from household items, but a research project of publishable caliber before they graduate.
The school does a wonderful job of setting it up so that we get a lot of basic research exposure and research courses during our first year. And then we're able to take those into our own projects and find something that we're passionate about and follow that through the rest of our time here.
It's the hope of those who lead research that future MDs will keep that passion for the science of medicine while they practice the art of medicine.
First of all, generally in the VTC SOM, the student population is erudite, incredibly hardworking. They know how to get things done. And so having these people in the lab, they've really brought an energy. They're really busy people from a young age in terms of their academic and clinical commitments. And so they offered a kind of a template to how you could model multiple ongoing projects and priorities and try and fit research as a core.
While medical practice and medical research normally combine in a clinical setting, medical students interacting with scientists in a lab bring a fresh perspective to investigating biomedical questions.
Their career. They want to be practitioners of medicine. They're thinking about the patient, thinking about how they can deliver care, diagnosis, treatment for their patients. So when they approach a problem in the lab, they come at it with that fresh set of eyes that I think helps influences the researchers in the lab as well.
Scientific techniques and methods are as old as medicine itself. But as the practice of medicine relies more and more on technology, it makes for better doctors when they know how that technology comes to be.
Doing research has made me learn that it's not something to be taken on lightly. You're not just going to have an idea, think of a project, and get it done. But if you do see something and you're really interested in it, and knowing how much work it's going to be, you still want to do it, then you'll know that that's something you should get into.
Hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Julia Selfridge. My research interests at VTC currently include breast cancer genetics. So a very common question I received during residency interviews, and I know many of the students from VTC have also received this question, was what makes VTC special as a new school? And my answer to that was ultimately the small, intimate class size, and related to that, the involvement from the community. And I think that that is what makes VTC a very unique learning environment. And for me, this aspect of VTC was experienced primarily through my research related to breast cancer and night shift work. And I'm part of an ongoing project looking at whether night shift work alters the genetics of breast tissue. And this project has brought researchers of all stripes together. I started out with Dr. Carla Finkelstein, a Virginia Tech molecular biology professor, who began to build the foundation of our project with me and provided a lab space in Blacksburg and resources for the cell model part of our research. Dr. Curtis Moyer, a plastic surgeon here at Carilion, joined us and has been fundamental in the design and carrying out of our research, as well as working with patients, consenting them, and completing the surgeries. Kristen Knight, a researcher at Jefferson College of Health Sciences, was also instrumental in helping with the research application at Carilion, and she even allows us to use her lab to store and process our tissue samples. Medical students of different years at VTC have also gotten involved. Andrew Lee, a current second-year student, is carrying the project after I graduate, and he has also started recruiting younger students. Lastly, the patients that we have worked with from the Roanoke community have been enthusiastic to participate. These patients come from a wide range of backgrounds and occupations, not necessarily scientific backgrounds, but they show great interest in helping progress our knowledge about breast cancer, participating in our research. These past few years at VTC have demonstrated to me through research that it really does take a community. Thank you.
It would be hard to deny that becoming a physician gives you certain perks in life. Your efforts and dedication reward you with the respect from the communities you serve. No matter where you go, that MD after your name tells people you have something important to give. Through a program associated with Roanoke's sister cities, members of the class of 2016 traveled across the globe, learning how other cultures practice medicine.
It's important because we don't want to just be an organization that does cultural exchanges. We want to spread out into other areas where a lot of people are affected and students can learn. The students that are coming here or that are going to the sister cities are learning about healthcare around the world. And what a better way to do that than in a welcoming environment of sister cities.
Fourth-year students Katie Gambali and her fiancé, Russell Tregonis, made the trip to France earlier this year. There, they were given the chance to train with not only French physicians, but to hit the avenues of St. Lo with EMTs.
One of the ones that I'm really excited about is pre-hospital medicine, or EMS. So we're going to theoretically be riding around in ambulances, going around through the little town and seeing the countryside a little bit. So I think that should be a fun one.
Joe Pekacek traveled to India as part of his international rotation. Learning the differences in technology, culture, and illnesses changed him.
It was an awesome experience. I took a lot from it, and it's something that I'll remember throughout my life. And hopefully in some ways my practice has changed a little bit too, relying a little bit less on some imaging, things like that, and a little bit more on what you can see directly in front of you and interact with and talk to the patient and do sort of base off your physical exam.
The ability to help people, to cure illness, and to ease pain has always been highly valued. The skills you received at Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine give you a passport to the world where you can make a difference. Always remember, no matter what community you find yourself in, you have the skills and talents to make lives better.
Good evening. My name is Russell Tregonis, and I was actually one of the students who had the opportunity to travel abroad with my fiancée, Katie. First of all, I just want to both acknowledge and thank both Virginia Tech Carilion and this community for allowing us to have this opportunity. An international experience is something that very, very few medical students get the opportunity to have. Yet we had 10 students out of a class of 42 get to travel abroad, do a month of an international rotation. And I mean, what other medical school do you really think has that type of ratio? Nearly a quarter of our class got to travel abroad. So first of all, I just want to thank Virginia Tech and this community for making that possible. So I just want to take a second. Continuing off of that, I mean, getting a chance to go abroad and see how medicine is practiced, you get exposure that you simply can't get from a textbook, from any rotation here. It's an opportunity like nothing else, and we just have to be so thankful for that. From our students, both Katie, I, and Julia all went to St. Lo in France. Omar, Varun, Eric, and Scott got to travel to Wonju, South Korea. Captain Sarah Brubaker got to travel to Russia, and Lauren Cantwell got to travel to Guatemala. So we literally went to every corner of the globe to get to experience this. And this is just an opportunity that once again, we can't thank you guys enough for. And one of the biggest cores of this was just the community that we have here. The Sister City program that was introduced in the video really served as the core of our rotation. We got a chance to not only see the medical community, but experience just the culture that surrounds all of these areas. So once again, thank you guys so much, and thank you for letting us go.
It's pretty darn simple why it's called Match Day. Medical students who are about to graduate are matched with residency programs. It happens nationwide at noon Eastern Time on the third Friday in March. Every fourth-year med student opens an envelope to find out where they matched. But simple it isn't. Thousands of U.S. and foreign medical students who wish to practice in America sign up, and thousands of med students do not match.
So I think I just want to know at this point. I have a lot of good choices, so that's comforting. But just to find out where I'm going to be for the next 4 years is incredibly exciting. And I think I'll be happy no matter where I end up.
So I was actually thinking about this morning, and I was thinking about all the hours first year, second year studying. I was thinking about the whole application process and all the hours we put in third year and just how it's all kind of led us here.
Time slows when you're waiting for big news, but the clock finally catches up and it's noon.
3, 2, 1.
With that, envelopes were opened and new directions were charted for members of the class of 2016. They, like every VTC class before them, matched. All of them.
So it was just really exciting to open it up and to see that I got, where I wanted to go, and that I was going to be with my boyfriend and to be doing what I really want to be doing was really exciting. It was very rewarding.
That moment I was holding the envelope, it was surreal that this envelope basically held my fate for the next 7 years.
Well, I matched into pediatrics at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which was my #1 choice, which is exactly where I wanted to be because my husband's a professor down there, and we've actually been living down there, us and our 2 kids, and so this really wasn't my decision of where to go for residency. This was a family decision. And to find out that we ended up exactly where we needed to be as a family, I was elated. I mean, this huge weight was just lifted off my shoulders, and I'm so excited to be going back down there.
Sometimes it's hard to keep in mind that these sons and daughters, boyfriends and girlfriends, moms and dads are more than just medical students. All the hard work over the past 4 years required so much sacrifice from these students and their families. Hard work that finally gives them the opportunity to head into the world and practice what they've been taught. In the end, 2 great doctors said it best, Dr. Seuss and Dr. Cinda Johnson.
You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way.
Hello, everyone. I was feeling pretty calm until that match day video came on. Now my heart's racing again for some reason. No more mystery envelopes, please. I'm Katie Gambali, for those who don't know me. During my third-year clerkships, I asked one of the residents I was working with how she liked the New York medical school she had attended. She simply shrugged and said that it had gotten her where she needed to be. We both sort of nervously laughed. But later that evening, and many evenings since then, I've reflected on her statement. For some, it seems that their time in medical school is little more than a difficult and very expensive step toward becoming a physician. But I will never think of my years at VTC as just a stepping stone, and I surmise that most, if not all, of my classmates feel the same way. Our school is unique and special in so many ways, from the exceptionally small class size, clinical-based curriculum, and state-of-the-art facilities, to the synergy created by the collaboration of a prominent research university and outstanding regional hospital system. Those are all great features, to be sure, but for me, the specialness of this place can be summed up in one word: community. A sense of anticipation, accomplishment, and excitement about what was going on in Roanoke and at this school was impossible to miss from my first day in town for my MMI interview. I remember the big banners streamed across Jefferson Street downtown, welcoming VTC SOM interviewees. And I remember the friendliness of the upperclassmen who took time to welcome and encourage us the night before our interviews, which of course we all imagined would be worse than being forced to listen to Chris Reed's death metal music. Of course, it wasn't so bad. And we even got to meet some community members who'd volunteered to help interview us. Those of us who survived the process and were lucky enough to be invited to matriculate were welcomed by the faculty, staff, and wider community, and made to feel that we were part of the excitement surrounding the creation of this school. While our class of 2016 may not be as adventurous as the charter class, perhaps not even quite so as the second class to matriculate, nobody could deny that we far exceed those before us in athleticism and good looks. But seriously, I think it's safe to say that the VTC faculty and staff could see that our class immediately formed a special bond. As an example, by the start of our first day of residency in just a few weeks, 8 of us will be married to a classmate. Some of us, like me and a former speaker who has red hair, discovered the loves of our lives here. All of us discovered other wondrous things. We discovered the wisdom and vision of community, Virginia Tech, and Carilion thought leaders who conceived and created the marvelous partnership that this school embodies. We've been astounded and humbled by the caring and dedicated physicians who patiently and skillfully taught us and inspired us during our 4 years here. We discovered the beauty, resilience, and fragility of the human body. We discovered how much memorizing a human is capable of through bloodshot eyes and under the threat of debtor's prison if we failed our exams. And we discovered lifelong friendships with classmates and others in the school community. Plus, we got to witness our faculty doing some pretty interesting things. For example, we all got to see Dr. Knight doing an Elton John impression. Some of us were lucky to see Dr. Chris's best LeBron impression. A very select few have even seen Dr. Schmidt-Dalton wearing jeans. And all of us have obviously seen Dr. Milam driving his minivan. We've had a lot of fun, as I'm sure you can tell, and we've all gone through the years of exams, clerkships, residency interviews, and the match together. Having the sense of togetherness and community from the very beginning made those experiences productive and infinitely more enjoyable. These past 2 weeks have been a collection of lectures and Q&A panels to help us prepare for residency, and I've started to think about how I will be as a resident, especially in regards to working with medical students, those things that we once were. How will I respond when they ask me how I liked VTC? VTC has gotten me where I needed to be. But I want you all to know that it has been much more than that for me. VTC and all of you have gotten me to where I never imagined I could be, and I couldn't thank you enough. So let's raise our glasses, and this is to VTC SOM's amazing start, its undoubtedly great future, the partnership of Roanoke, Virginia Tech, and Carilion, and all the faculty, staff, and past, present, and future students at this great school. Cheers.
Good evening. Given the exemplary nature of this class and the fact that every known accolade has already been expended this evening, I was somewhat at a doubt of what to do. So I've decided to return to your childhood. Let's raise your glasses. It's time to take off the trainer wheels. You're doctors.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Pat. And thank all of you for coming tonight. And in the spirit of the 1978 film, the only movie I think I saw that year because it was my second year of residency training, see you here, same time next year, when the class of 2016 will be alumni, joining us in on celebrating the class of 2017. Thank you.